The college basketball experience Big Ten Conference preview episode for 2024-25 on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up, and when you do, sign up with that promo code TCESGPN. You get a 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000, folks. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. Start crushing college football and NFL with Rhythm. Get your free 7-day trial period today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That is sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. Once again, that is sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. And remember, as always, folks, to let it ride.
This is Martin Cleese, and you're listening to SGPN. Let it ride.
Yes, yes, yes. Woo! Welcome to the college basketball experience. Big Ten with 20 million teams, 2024-25 season preview episode. Oh boy, we are here. YouTube.com/the college experience. Always love the Big Ten fans historically. They pack these arenas and they make it great for the sport of college basketball. But I got to admit, jumping in and seeing, doing my prep for this episode with 18 teams, it's different. Anyway, if you're wondering who the hell you're listening to, my name is Colby Swinging Database Dan, aka Pick Dundee. That's not a pick. This is a pick.
He was raised in the land down under, where a man thinks on his feet, speaks with his fists, and lives by his wits.
When Dundee happened, he was a superstar.
I'm probably drinking too much and celebrating too much and not sleeping. Would have killed a normal man, but no, that's gone. The medical advice I got from that was like being hit by lightning. Pretend it never happened and get on with your life.
Oh boy. 18 teams, one conference. Unbelievable. Thank you, Kevin Warren, for giving us just a whole gigantic league. I am excited about the Friday night slate though. Like they're going to be playing more Friday games. But I can tell you, as 18 teams in a conference, I don't think that should ever happen in the sport. So please, if you can, pass the whiskey, pass the shotgun, and let's get ready for the season. I am joined by my co-host. He is the host of, the Big 12 college experience and the Ride in Russia. You heard him on the college football experience as well. Give it up for former video coordinator for Hall of Fame Coach Bob Huggins and Frank Martin, Ryan McIntyre, aka Moneyline Mac. How are you, brother?
What's up, brother? Yeah, I love the Big Ten fan bases, the traditions, but just looking at this league, I can't get too excited for this league with 18 teams, coast to coast. But hey, let's preview them. Let's go.
Mac tonight. Come on, make it Mac tonight. All right. Well, it's about time we bring in some Big Ten blood. All right. This guy's the host of the college baseball experience, which you should be subscribed to. He's also he's the man behind the scenes on the college football experience, and he's all over these previews and all over these shows on the college basketball experience. Give it up for the LeBaron driving, no internet having, cabin living, s'more making, Noah Bieniek. How you doing, brother?
What's going on, guys? Yeah, when God mentioned the term Big Ten country, this is what he envisioned. What's going on? Tuning in today's show from the Bieniek cabin. I actually posted really nice pictures last night with the northern lights right over our place.
Oh shit!
Pretty cool. But yeah, what's not pretty cool, actually pretty mid, is this 18-team Big Ten conference we have this year. What I will say in the conference's defense, We have more teams in the top 70 on Bart Torvik's preseason rankings than the Big 12. Only the Big 12 has 5 teams inside the top 16, and we have 0. We don't have any.
And they have less teams.
The two less teams. Like,
so, I mean,
there's only 68 teams in the field.
The Big 10 doesn't have any top tier teams, which, we've gotten that bad rap of not winning a national title since 2000. Purdue gave it a great run last year. I was on Purdue, predicted them to win the conference, predicted them to win the conference tournament, predicted them to win the national championship. They didn't quite get that, but also Northwestern was my sleeper. You guys did get to laugh in my face when Michigan was your bust, and that came through, but it was kind of a wash all the way around, I guess. I'm just going to hope that my Wi-Fi holds up for this 2-hour episode with 18 teams to preview.
Yeah. Well, don't worry. If we end up missing a team, we'll just chalk it up for conference expansion. We forgot. Look, at what point are we going to forget teams that are in the conference? I feel like with 18, I feel like we have a legit excuse.
What I will say is the bottom feeders, at least what you would expect to be the bottom feeders, actually have some of the best returning players in the Big Ten. So it makes it really kind of tough to figure out kind of your power ratings early on in the preseason here. Because do you trust the culture, which I know we tend to with a lot of these teams, or do you like the returning production? And some of those teams that at least I have towards the bottom have some really good returning production. So very tough to kind of figure out this year.
Yeah, well, let's get to it. Let's just go with the bang. We got the Illinois Fighting Illini. Brad Underwood. Love fading him in March historically. They lose a good amount of production. Terrence Shannon Jr., Marcus Damask, Quincy Guerriere, Coleman Hawkins, Dane Danger. Everybody. They lost the whole damn team. But they did bring back Ty Rodgers for 20. He played 23 minutes a game last season. Him and Dre Gibbs Lawhorn are back. They bring in freshman Kasparis Jakusonius. I got no idea how to pronounce his name.
Yakashonis.
Yakashonis. Yeah. You say it like I'm supposed to know that. I'm joking.
You'll know it by the end of the year.
Yeah, I might. They bring in Kylan Boswell from Arizona. That's a nice get. And they bring in the Evansville Purple Ace transfer, Ben Humrikus.
No.
Humrikus. God damn it, man.
Something like that.
Football is a lot easier than basketball these days. They bring in Kerry Booth, the son of Calvin Booth, the former Washington Bullet back in the day. And Trey White from Louisville, also Jake Davis from Mercer. They also have a 5-star and Will Riley arriving, and also Tomislav Ivisic. Noah, help me there.
Ivisic. It's Big Z's brother.
Yeah.
Twin brother.
Oh, I got you. They also have Keaton Kutcher on the son of Ashton Kutcher on the bench. This team's going to take a big step back. Underwood's a good coach when he has less. I do feel like though, like I feel like he'll get them to a decent spot where like they're probably exceed expectations, but I don't think they're like a serious threat in this conference. Mac.
I'm actually more bullish on this team, like what you said. I think Brad's better with less, and I think it's actually remarkable to kind of look at it. He's embraced the portal, being a Hugs and Frank guy. It's kind of the opposite of what you think. They're able to score the ball, kind of embrace the offensive end, play to whatever his talent is. They finish in the top 5 the last 5 years, and I just think they finally broke through, got to the second weekend. They've been knocking on the door 5 straight NCAA tournaments. I'm just going to blindly trust Underwood. They're going to be back in the dance and be in the top half of the league.
There we go. Top half of the league. Is that saying that much when there's 40 teams?
Sorry,
Yeah.
top 5-6 in the league.
I gotcha.
And you know what too, Colby? They have a great home court. I mean,
they do.
I mean, this is a great fan base. Great
fan
base.
For what it's worth, Big Ten ranked second in home court win percentage last season.
Yeah, no, and that's what I like about the Big Ten. Well, I mean, is I love catching. It sells itself in that regard. Like, yeah, they've had their tournament struggles, but a game, at Assembly Hall, a game, just in general, you bounce around. Even Nebraska's built up their fan base. Minnesota's, I feel like, even show up at the barn. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like they've done that I do subscribe to, and that's why I will jump on watching those games still, even if we think certain teams might not be that good. It's just a good college environment. It's what the sport should be. But I don't know. I have them outside the top 5, but I do think top half would be correct.
The only one I'm going to push back on is the barn. I've said it always. It's a little overrated. The high floor is dumb and whatever. Max said it. Brad Underwood has led Illinois to a top 5 finish in 5 straight seasons. I know there's not a lot of continuity on this roster as they return the second least minutes, but they are also the least experienced Big Ten team here in the preseason. You have to look at kind of all the same issues as that 2022-23 team under Underwood, where they had inexperience, chemistry issues with Matthew Meyer on the team that was on full display, national television, ESPN, and MSG or whatever after the Texas game after a win. But yet Underwood still had them 11-9 in conference with wins over top 10 UCLA and Texas in the non-conference. I'm buying into Kasparis Yakshonis being a Big Ten level shot creator off the bounce, and he's a really good passer on the film. So it's not a pretty roster on paper, but I'm going to have Illinois near the top of my projections as well.
Whoa. Near the top? Can you care to be a little more specific?
Top 5.
Okay. Huh. All right. This is going to be fun. All right, continuing on, let's go to the Indiana Hoosiers. But before I do that, I want to let you know, folks, that look, if you didn't catch the hurricanes that have been happening throughout this country, I don't know how you missed it. First off, but Hurricane Helene had been, that was the one. I know Florida's getting one right now, but Hurricane Helene had been just catastrophic to Western North Carolina there. So we reached out. And SGPN is teaming up with a local charity, mountainprojects.org. We finally found one. Like, we were doing our due diligence there to make sure we found one where your money's actually going to go to the people that are affected by this. So please, if you can help to give back, we'd certainly appreciate it. Even if even if it's only a couple bucks, please, if you can, get on over there. The biggest donation, though, we'll get a guest spot on the College Football Pick Show for the Sports Gambling Podcast and a ton of SGPN gear. Please, if you can, go to mountainprojects.org, hit that flood support to help out today. I can't tell you, this is going to be affected. They're affected for like a year, probably. This is the houses washed away, jobs, cars, family members. They lost people lost family members. I heard a terrible story about a woman that lost her dad and her son they were going down the stream in their house, essentially, and just absolutely tragic stuff. It is our time to rise up and help our fellow countrymen. So please, if you can, like I said, how many people have offered us money for a beer or something, saying, well, I'd love to buy you a beer, Dundee. Well, look, I would love to push back on that and say, hey, I'll buy you the beer when I meet up. Please, if you can, though, donate $5-10, whatever that beer would be, or whatever you can. I understand if you're not a millionaire and you're not just sitting there, but I'm telling you, if you could have one less beer on Friday night and put it in this to help out our people, I think you would wish that the same would happen if something happened to you and you were in that spot. So please, if you can, mountainprojects.org, hit flood support to help out today. All right, we are back, and shout out to Leg Show Magazine. Hello, Blue Sniffers. More of a paint huffer, but yeah, I'm on board.
10?
Yeah. But let's switch over and talk about the Indiana Hoosiers, which, Mike Woodson survived it for a while there. I think if you had asked me 2 years ago, I thought Woodson would have been fired by now. He survives it, and man, when you look at what he did, not only surviving it, but I look at this roster, and he brings in Miles Rice, who I like from Wazoo with Kyle Smith there.
I need to push back on the Mike Woodson positivity.
Well, I'm saying like this year's team, how can you not be optimistic is my point.
Indiana went and spent a boatload of money because Purdue played in the national championship and Indiana missed the NCAA tournament. That's not on Woodson. That's just the fans being passionate.
Did I say it was on Woodson? I'm saying like he survived it is my point. I'm not a pro Mike Woodson guy. My point is he's not.
It sounded
fired.
like you were giving him credit for this roster.
Well, I'm giving him credit for fucking being there still. Because I don't know what he did. If he took photos of the athletic director, I have no idea. But my credit is that he's still employed by them. But Trey Galloway returned. Same with Mackenzie Mbako and Malik Renault. And they, like I said, they added Miles Rice. They added Umar Ballo from Arizona. Also Carlisle from Stanford, who played well for the Cards last year. Also Luke Good comes in from the Illini. Disgusting. And then Dallas James from South Carolina State is a grad transfer that comes in. Same with Langdon Hatton. And don't forget, they add 4-star freshman Bryson Tucker. And they have redshirt freshman Ja'Kai Newton, who was a 4-star, I believe, the year prior. They did lose Xavier Johnson. They did lose Anthony Walker. They also lost Khalil Ware. So I mean, they took some hits, but I'll be honest, this roster, pressure's on, coach, because I do think this is the best roster in a couple of years here.
I think it's the best roster in the Big Ten this year.
Yeah.
On paper,
which means they definitely won't win the Big Ten. So I'll say top 5, but I'm looking at the further side of the top 5, the further back side of the top 5 there. I just Mike Woods has got to prove it to me still. And but I will say I'm encouraged. Mac, your thoughts on these Hoosiers?
Well, I would say why he's still there. He's one of their own. He played for Bob Knight from 76 to 80. I actually don't. I'm in the minority. I don't think he's done a horrible job. I wasn't calling for his head last year. He had been to back-to-back NCAA tournaments while Archie Miller, the guy before him, didn't go to one single NCAA tournament. So I don't think he's done a great job. Don't get me wrong. They've had talent. They've had guys that have gone to the NBA. I do get some super team vibes with going out and paying what they've done. But I mean, Miles Rice, I liked him at Wazoo. I liked Ballo at Arizona, rim protector. They got a lot of size. I'm interested to see how the pieces fit here, because it kind of, can they make a jump shot? Because they couldn't do it last year. Indiana should be an NCAA tournament team. If they're not, obviously he's going to be out in Bloomington.
Yeah, I think they'll be a tournament team. I'm just saying,
at least
a lot of people. I've talked to a few people that say this is the Big Ten's. They're going to win this thing. I'm not there. I'm not there.
I'll say that right now.
Not there yet. Bieniek, your thoughts on these Hoosiers?
For those that think that Woodson's going to win something, I need you to turn to his career resume and tell me what he's won. New York Knicks, Atlanta Hawks, Indiana 2022-23. They were projected to win the Big Ten. They did not. And then they go in and he gets outcoached by Larinaga in Miami in 2022-23 with that team. This is almost a foolproof roster set up for him. If he fails, he is gone. Like no ifs, ands, or buts, in my opinion. And you know who they're going to get? They're going to get that pasty white guy that's in Ann Arbor right now, who is also Bob Knight guy. So, yeah, I respect Umar Ballo. He's a walking double-double. Miles Rice, really good playmaker. The one possible hole that I was talking about, though, is that Will Baco, Will Renew, Will Galloway, Will Carlisle, will they be able to knock down their shots from the outside? Because I don't think this roster is all the way foolproof, but it's easily the best one on paper in this conference when all these other rosters that we're going to talk about today have some kind of question. This one, really, it's just about, can these young guys step up who were billed to be, kind of world beaters this season. So I think the Hoosiers have a great shot to win a banner this year. And if they don't, that seat's really, really hot.
Do they not scream of they're going to be in the 8-9 game and lose that game, and we're going to be like, man, what an underachieving year that was for them?
100%.
I can totally see it. Totally see it. Want to talk about the next team here, but before we do that, I want to let you know that the college basketball experience is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Look, Underdog Pick'em has one of the biggest menus for all sports: NFL, college football, college basketball, MLB, MMA, CFL, WNBA, NASCAR, and much, much more. Their lobby is jam-packed with profit boost. Also, you can now use specials and boost on all flexed entries. So sign up, and when you do, sign up with the promo code TCESGPN to claim your special pick plus first time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus cash. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code TCESGPN. All right, we are back talking college hoops, Big Ten style, and let's move along to this is in similar vein for me for the Illini. I know we look at this team. I'm talking Iowa Hawkeyes here, and Fran McCaffrey, whose own son transferred out. But they also lost Tony Perkins, who played major minutes for them. Same with Crikey, Ben Crikey, and you wonder about this team because you look at the roster and you're like, okay, they got Peyton Sanford back, and Owen Freeman. And Josh Dix, Brock Harding's asked to step up. He was a freshman a season ago, played about 11 minutes a game. Price Sanford, also another freshman that played about 8-9 minutes a game a season ago. They add in Seydou Traoré from the Jaspers of Manhattan. They add in Drew Thelwell from Morehead State. I mean, you look at this team and you're just like, what the hell am I looking at here? But I'll say this: I think he's a coach that's way better when they're supposed to suck. Like when you're thinking, they're going to be terrible. Now that doesn't mean they'll be good, but to me, he'll probably have them chippier than what we think. I still don't have them as a top half team, but I do think he is a coach that's better when the chips are down. So I'll say they'll be better than what we think. They'll clip some teams probably we don't think they would. But your thoughts on McCaffrey and the Hawkeyes here?
Yeah, right to your point, Colby. I mean, they have finished in the top 6 every year since 2018. And if you take it a step further, outside of 2017, he finishes in the top 6 every year. So, I mean, he really does get more out of less. They have an identity. They're going to share the ball. Play Iowa basketball. That's what we've been accustomed to with McCaffrey. I know that a lot of faces change here, but I'm with you. I think that they will overachieve. They do have some pieces coming back. They're middle of the pack in returning production. Sign me up for 18-14, 18-15 Iowa, right on the bubble, NIT or first 4 or last 4 in.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny, man. You pick up a couple of publications from college basketball, you research, and a lot of people have them in right around the cellar. I think they'll be better than that. But I just don't know how athletic they'll be. I think I do know how athletic they'll be. Not very, but I still think he's just a good coach. There's a reason why some hate him, some love him, because I feel like if you're an Iowa fan, I get it. You're like, our ceiling will never the days of Kevin Gamble and shit way back in the day when you were your ceiling was higher back then than it is now. But at the same time, you're still decent every year. So and their odds are 30-1 to win the regular season. Don't take that, but I do think I actually think they'll be right around the middle. I bet you they get right around the middle of this gigantic conference.
What are their odds to finish 10-10 exacta in Big Ten play?
Yes,
that's what they're going to finish.
Yes, we should grab that. Bieniek, your thoughts on the Hawkeyes?
I think there's a lot of disrespect being thrown Luka Garza and the Murray brothers' way. I mean, we're flashing all the way back to, I don't even remember who Colby said, but like literally just 2 or 3 years ago, this team had 3 NBA players on it, or NBA draft picks on it. I don't know if any of them are still in the NBA. I don't follow it, but Fran McCaffrey has had 7 top 20 offenses at Iowa, has 7 straight top 20 offenses at Iowa. And Peyton Sandford and Owen Freeman are one of the best returning offensive front courts in the Big Ten. So, the Hawkeyes have a really good head start on the rest of the conference. And then Fran went out and got Morehead State transfer Drew Thelwell, who averaged 6.2 assists last season. The offense is going to pick up right where they left off. In those 7 years, though, with top 20 offenses, Iowa only had a top 100 defense 3 times, and all of them were with either the Murray brothers or Luka Garza. So last year, Owen Freeman was just a pylon in the front court defensively. I'm not sure the defense is going to get any better this year, but there's a pretty high floor. I'm kind of with you guys. Like, a lot of people are really down on Iowa, and with the Big Ten this year and basically every year, you just got to go on culture. And Iowa, albeit like it seems like rumors are flying around that Fran could be retiring whenever in the near future. But until he does, this team's going to be top half of the league every single year.
The staples are sharp. All right. The staples are sharp. And sometimes you underestimate how sharp those staples are. All right, let's jump on over and talk.
Max muted.
Sorry, I said 10-10 status quo pro. Keep it moving.
Yeah, let's go. Let's talk about
that's going to be a lot of teams in the Big Ten this year.
Yeah.
Let's talk about these Maryland Terrapins. I wasn't the biggest fan of the hire with Kevin Willard, but I would say this is a big spot for them here. I don't know really what to expect here. I know, my oldest brother's a diehard Maryland fan, and he's not the most excited about this team. But Jacoby Gillespie comes in from Belmont. Selton Miguel comes in from the Bulls of South Florida. Played well for them last season. Rodney Rice comes in from Virginia Tech. Tafara Gapare from Georgia Tech. And Jalen Young from the Memphis Tigers, as well as they bring back Chance Stevens, the old Loyola Marymount player there, but they get Deshaun Harris Smith back, played pretty well a season ago or showed flashes. Julian Reese is probably their top guy back. Jordan Geronimo. Anytime you get a shout out to Mike Leach, who wrote a book about Geronimo, I highly recommend it. He's back, 5th year senior. Jahari Long, 5th year senior. These are some reserves that could play key roles here. But look, Dante Scott and Jameer Young are gone, and those guys were the heartbeat of the team. I feel like a year ago. I mean, I'm just not that high on them, dude. I don't think now they bring in freshman Derek Queen. I forgot to mention that 4-star that I think they are very excited about, but I don't know. I was never sold on Willard at Seton Hall. I'm not sold on him at Maryland. I tend to think personally, I'm going to go ahead and say I think they'll finish behind Iowa, not high on the Terps. And I still wonder about their home. This used to be one of the hardest places to grab a win, but when they joined the Big Ten, first it just seemed like the fans didn't want it. They didn't endorse it. That's why they did it in the middle of the night. They knew the pushback. Yeah.
Can I compare this to something too? It's like, going back to the old girlfriend, because 2022, 23. They hosted, I think it was UCLA, and everybody bought in. That place was absolutely packed. They were so loud, and they got ran out of the building the first half, and it's been dead ever since.
Well, it's tragic. I grew up going to Maryland basketball camps, and Gary, yeah, and that place was electric. It was one of the hardest places to get a win. But this is another example of conference realignment where you do this shit. And I just don't. You took away something that was such an advantage, and it was so key. Let alone you had Gary Williams, great coach, bringing in great talent, but you also had this thing that was such an advantage, and it's just not there anymore. So I tend to think this team is going to disappoint. Mac, your thoughts on the Terps?
I'll go the big picture. I 100% echo everything you said about Maryland and being in the DMV growing up, like. Duke Carolina is a great rivalry. It's the best in college basketball, but Duke and Maryland once upon a time was right there with Gary Williams and Coach K back-to-back years, going to the Final Fours, winning national championship, like going to Cole Fieldhouse for some of those games. Oh my God, man, they lost their identity when they went to the Big Ten. Now on the Kevin Willard thing, he made the tournament 6 out of the last 7 years at Seton Hall. I think he's an extension of the Turgeon era. I think when nobody thinks they're going to be good, they're going to overachieve. Last year, there was a lot of expectations. Bringing back Jameer Young, Dante Scott, everybody kind of overbought in. And
they liked the freshmen on last year's team too. That was a big reason.
And everybody kind of just overreacted a little bit with their second half run in the first year where they won an NCAA tournament game against my Mountaineers. I actually think Maryland's going to be a fringe NCAA tournament team. I like Reese. I like the kid from Belmont coming over. I think Willard's better when his back's against the wall. And, I'm buying in a little bit to the Terps this year to overachieve.
Yeah, see, Willard, in my opinion, like even at Seton Hall, I just never.
He can't win it. Like, he can't get to the second weekend.
Yeah, I don't know. Bieniek, where you at with these Terps?
Haven't they kind of been a fringe tournament team the last 2 years ago they were in it. Last year they were kind of last year they were kind of fringe tournament team too. So I think that's more of the same, and that's kind of what I expect here as well. You know, the one positive here is Kevin Willard's had a top 50 defense in 6 of the last 9 seasons. It's hard for the Terps to be worse than they were last year. They were 347th in 3-point shooting percentage. But they lose Jameer Young, and I'm not as big of a fan of this new backcourt as Mac maybe. You know, specifically one of those freshmen that were super hyped up last year, Deshaun Harris-Smith. He just didn't really pass my eye test. Jordan Geronimo has been a career Big Ten backup. Both expected starters, Jacoby Gillespie and Selton Miguel, are up transfers from last season. You know, I have to be cautious in that backcourt because I don't think any of them are going to be able to replace their production that Young was able to give them last year. And this was the top defense in the Big Ten last year, and they finished tied for 12th. You know, freshman 5 and Derek Queen makes me a little bit nervous. I kind of expect more of the same. I've got Maryland in the bottom half, and Big Ten's going to get 8 bids. That probably means that they're on the fringe of the NCAA tournament just by definition. So, yeah, bottom half team in the Big Ten for me.
Yeah, I agree. And it's a bummer, man. It's like I don't understand these schools that vote yes on this. Like even like football and basketball. You look at this. Okay, Maryland's been a better basketball program than football over the years, but it's like you're putting in UCLA and Oregon. They've been better programs than Maryland over the past 10, 15 years. So it's like, you know, okay, you could even make the case USC. You could even make that case. Now Washington, no, but so it's like, okay. Why vote yes? Just because it's more money, huh? It's TV money, but your program, your fan base is affected by these things. We see it everywhere.
Duke Maryland was electric in the day, and Virginia Maryland was great too.
Yes, they fucking hated each other. That was a good football rivalry too. That's what I'm saying. Like, I just wonder long term. We'll see. Folks, want to tell you the college basketball experience is brought to you by BetUS. Bet with the best in the business. BetUS. BetUS has been around for more than 30 years. You can easily deposit using cryptocurrency and get lightning fast payouts. Sign up and deposit $100. You get a chance to win a 1960 Ford Mustang. Now we're talking, right? And look, I tell you, I'm jumping all over Moneyline Max Mountaineers tomorrow at home against Iowa State. So get on over there. Use our link to sign up. Get 125% deposit bonus on your first 3 deposits. Holy shit, what a great deal there. Go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/betus. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/betus. Promo code SGPN so they know we sent you. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. SGPN's proud partner. Rhythm is the #1 AI-powered sports betting platform. It helps provide bettors of all levels the ability to build custom predictive betting models in seconds and get predictions for betting on money lines, spreads, totals, props, all that good stuff. Copy one of the top performing models from the leaderboard if you want, or you could build your own. I like to do that, and then Rhythm will adjust around what I select and like. Rhythm gives you predictions for every game and player prop. Also has a slew of stats, research, and trend analysis to give you even more betting insight. I mean, I touched on Dub V. What do I got? I like the Buffalo Bulls tomorrow against Toledo to at least cover. I think the money line's worth a sprinkle too. So hop on over there, claim your free 7-day trial period today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's RITHMM. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. All right. We are back on the college basketball experience, Big Ten style. Let's jump on over there, and talk about the Michigan Wolverines. Noah Bieniek's Michigan Wolverines. They go ahead and get Dusty May from Florida Atlantic. And they bring back Namari Burnett, the former Alabama Crimson Tide player. They also, I mean, that's really, they don't bring back much besides that. Yeah. Jace Howard as well, right?
Oh yeah, jeez. We didn't clear house completely.
Yeah.
How do you not get rid of the old coach's son?
And also be a little,
and also one
awkward,
of the
right?
100%. Also, one of the other incoming freshmen is Howard Isley Jr., who was an assistant coach on last year's team. So,
Howard Isley,
and then Mac. I know you don't like the coach's son ball, and Charlie May's on the squad too. So we've got 3 coaches' sons.
He's a walk on. You can have the walk.
They don't have Charlie Day. They have Charlie May. But look, Doug McDaniel's gone. Trey Jackson gone. Llewellyn gone. I mean, everybody.
The team was dog shit. Everybody out the door. That was the worst year. And I don't know. You know what the worst thing was? Is we thought St. John's and Memphis were going to be good last year, and they teased us because Michigan beat them. And everything.
You got them early.
Everything out the door after that.
You got him early.
We thought we were going to be good.
Fat Brooks comes in. Great name. No, but look, they bring in a lot of guys in the portal. Trey Donaldson from Auburn. Roddy Gale Jr. from Ohio. From Ohio State.
It's disgusting.
The gunshots.
Yes.
Yeah, that's gross.
He might even be the best guard on this team.
I mean, I just don't like where society's going, to tell you the truth. Like, I
go from Ohio State to Michigan, or vice versa.
Yeah.
It's not as big in basketball. It's still a huge
Ohio State to Michigan.
Yeah. General principle.
It's still a huge rivalry.
Tigers and Indians are playing right now, and it turns into a Ohio State Michigan debate.
Well, it's Michigan and Michigan State against Ohio State. It's great. We tag team them.
You also brought in Sam Walters, another Bama transfer. Reuben Jones from North Texas. Vlad from Florida Atlantic, and the big one here, Danny Wolf, who balled out some in the NCAA tournament there with Yale. Like those gets, I do, but it is year 1. Middle of the road, Big Ten team. Middle of the road.
Might only be his first year. Might only be his only year in Ann Arbor.
Yeah, Bieniek's buying into this Dusty May to Indiana after this year.
He's probably gone. We got 1 year with him.
Colby, I don't know. I'm kind of torn on Michigan. I like them. I like the pieces that they have on their roster. You mentioned it, bringing over Vlad from FAU, Danny Wolf from Yale. They have size. I think they have decent talent. I think they're a bubble team. I think maybe they find themselves on the right side of it. I like Donaldson coming over from Auburn. Gale, I guess, coming over from Ohio State. A lot of interesting pieces here. And then Dusty May, obviously. So we'll see if he can get that thing energized right away.
Yeah. Bieniek, why do you have Michigan winning the Big Ten again?
I don't have Michigan winning the Big Ten this year. I have some hesitations with this team too. There's no traditional point guard, which is there's no go-to perimeter scorer on paper at least either, and neither did Dusty May's last two teams at FAU. Roddy Gale's probably that guard that we expect to take that step and be the go-to guy on the outside when the shot clock's dwindling. But Trey Donaldson and Namari Burnett are steady players that have power conference experience that's going to provide Dusty, that experience in the backcourt. But I think the guy that he made his priority in the transfer portal, other than Vlad Golden, was Reuben Jones from North Texas. He played against him at Conference USA. He played against him in the American. Jones averaged 12, 3.5, and 1.5 steals per game. I'm really excited about that kid. And a name to keep an eye on deep in the backcourt is LJ Kaysen if some of the other experienced guys can't deliver. Kaysen, I'm hearing good things about him. He's a recruit that Dusty had at FAU, and he's from Florida. He was just a small school playing against nobody competition. But once he got on the campus, he's been balling out. So it's everything positive from that kid. In general, the entire roster full of willing passers, switchable defenders that Dusty's going to love because he switches everything defensively. And this offense is going to run through Golden Wolf. That's the duo name of Vlad Golden and Danny Wolf. So, I think Golden probably works as the leading scorer. We've seen this kind of offense run through Michigan the last few years with the big man down low and Dickinson. I think we're going to be a super tough team to score on in the paint. So I think the floor is high, one of the higher floors in this conference, but I don't know how high the ceiling is. I have this team inside the top 8. So a top half team, not too high, not too low.
Top 8, Mac. Top 8.
I had them 8 to 10. I had them in there. They're not horrible. I mean, they're not great. But they're not. I mean, they're like every other Big Ten team.
Let's talk about Coach Izzo at Sparty.
Noah's daddy.
Yes,
I like Izzo. Hold on. Oh. Don't provide this narrative. He's great in the community. I like Izzo, but he is going to retire in the next couple of years. he's out the door.
Well, they lost Matty Sissoko, Malik Hall, AJ Hoggard, Tyson Walker, all gone, but they still have Barry Sanders' son, Nick Sanders. That's all that matters. No, they also went out and got our boy. If you've been listening to us over the years, me and NC Nick have been repping Frankly Fiddler. All right, it sounds like a sexual move. He comes in from Omaha where he put up 20 points a game. I like that get. Also, Simon Zapala comes in from Longwood. I know Matt caught him live down there with the Lancers. They return.
Mac loves Longwood.
Yes. Jeremy Fears is back. Trey Holloman back. Jaden Akins back. Cohen Carr is back. Xavier Booker. Now, obviously, all these guys are going to get way more minutes. Carson Cooper, Jackson Kohler. They bring in 3 4-stars in Normand and Tang and Jace Richardson. Tournament team.
Okay.
You look at this, you just say, Tournament team. Look, wouldn't be surprised. I got them like 6th, 7th, 8th, something like that. In that range. Wouldn't surprise me if he snuck into the top 5 because Tom Izzo's a fucking legend. But I just comparing it to the Izzo teams that used to be fire.
Yeah,
you just don't see it there. This is it reminds me of like certain coach. I'm trying to just quickly think of one of like maybe Mac Brown with North Carolina right now in football. Where you're just like he's gonna go to a bowl probably, but it just doesn't look like the old teams. Mac, where you at with this?
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the roster, but you know what, man? The roster's kind of been on the decline for about 4 or 5 years, but this guy hasn't missed an NCAA tournament since 1997. It ain't changing here. He'll find a way. I mean, the 1 year I remember they had to win like 5 in a row to get in. Maybe it was good to get all those guys out. That kind of, I think we
100%
better than they actually were. Give me Izzo to actually overachieve here. Top 5 team. Let's go.
I was gonna say, it wouldn't shock me if he got in that 5 spot.
He's gonna slide in there in the top 5, and let's go. Izzo, baby.
That core that just got out of here finished every single season with like 13 losses, whether it be regular season losses or at the end of the year with postseason losses. All of them had at least 13, and that's just not typical Izzo ball.
How did they make the tournament the COVID year going 15-13? Yeah, we need to look into that.
No, I do believe I talk shit about that too. If we go back, But hey,
I love Izzo though.
Yeah, Bieniek, where do you got him finishing?
Yeah, last year I picked them 4th when everybody had them 4th in the nation. So I'm just gonna say. Yeah, I'm just going to say that before I get into this. You know, he has had a top 50 defense nationally in 17 of the last 18 seasons. However, I think this group is going to come really, really close to breaking that tournament streak. It's going to put it to the test. The front court is atrocious. Sparty fans want to say that Xavier Booker's the answer because he was a 5-star big man recruit last year who can shoot the deep ball as well. But the problem is that Booker's soft and he has motor issues, and he caught 8 DNPs from Izzo last year, 7 games of less than 5 minutes played. That's why Izzo tossed him to the side. If you're not going to play hard, he's not going to play you. Sit your ass on the bench. Jackson Kohler, Carson Cooper, Saman Sapala, all of them not Big Ten capable starting centers. And then you have Cohen Carr, who's an undersized Big Ten forward as your 4. He can't shoot. Jeremy Fears is the guy that everybody wants to be insanely good because it's going to be an awesome story. Because last December during Christmas break, he took a random stray bullet in Illinois that kind of sidelined him for the rest of the season. He's a stud, and they want him to kind of be that superstar. That next, I don't know if the games compare, but like the next great Sparty guard since like Cassius Winston a couple of years ago. Trey Holloman's going to be a solid contributor. Jaden Akins can knock down shots left and right, but if that front court's non-existent, Sparty's going to be in trouble defensively. And I have them close. They're going to be right there. I haven't solidified my Big Ten standings yet, but they're probably bottom half team for me.
Colby,
hey.
Colby, I want to give out a lock. Sunday, March 9th, we have 18-12 Michigan State right on the bubble. And all they got to do is Michigan at home in East Lansing. I will lock up Sparty -3.
Just put it on a tee for him. Why not?
Lock it up right now.
How many of them are kissing Sparty's head on that day? Only one, Jaden Akins. Frankie Fiddler's a senior too.
They're gonna beat you and get to that dance for the 59th straight year. Feels like.
So only Akins is due for a 20-point game that day. So Michigan's got a shot.
No, you don't.
No, not that day, buddy.
Izzo in a game where they got to get to the tournament, you got no shot.
Exactly. I'll follow Mac here with that. Look, the Gophers.
It's a road game in the Big Ten. We don't expect to win it.
The Gophers with
just
Ben
steal
Johnson.
2 of them on the year. We're good.
The Gophers with Ben Johnson. Look, Noah doesn't like the barn. It looked like Minnesota took a little step forward last year. Mike Mitchell is back. Dawson Garcia has been in college 75 years. Is back. Parker Fox back. Caden Betts back, but they did take some hits with.
This is the dark side of the transfer portal.
Yeah.
Elijah Hawkins, Pharrell Payne gone. Braden Carrington gone, Ola Joseph gone, Cam Christie gone. But they go out and they get Tyler Cochran from Toledo. No relation to Johnny.
They got lucky too, because he was at Oregon State, and I don't know what happened there, but he decommitted, and now he's with the Golden Gophers. That's a good get.
Yeah, and then they get the New Mexico State transfer via. I don't even really remember him at New Mexico State. Femi, yeah, I'm like, do you, maybe I just didn't watch enough of New Mexico State last year. The year before as we did, but Odukale. How do I pronounce that again?
I think you drilled it. I think you got it.
That was as accurate as I'll get.
Yeah, Frank Mitchell comes in from Canisius. Brennan Rigsby from the Ducks of Oregon. And then Lukaye Patterson from Charlotte. Also Caleb Williams. They got Caleb Williams from McAllister.
What'd you do to him?
Transfer. Trey Edmonds also comes in from the Roadrunners of UTSA. Meep Meep. And don't forget Lincoln Meister, Minnesota Duluth transfer. They went deep sea diving on this team. Look, bottom 5 team. Bold statement from Dundee here. Mac, your thoughts on Minnesota?
Before we give an analysis on this team, I think we should give Ben Johnson some credit on last
100%.
year. They overachieved 9-11, 19 wins with that roster. Hawkins off to Texas Tech, Payne off to Texas A&M. They're going to be under the radar, man. I'm hoping that they can overachieve because I do like meaningful games at the barn. But I'm with you. I need to see it from this roster coming into the Big Ten with a lot of 50-50 games that haven't gone through this league. But yeah, I mean, it sucks that Minnesota clearly doesn't have their NIL in order because Fleck kind of going through the same thing on the football side. Ben Johnson over here, and they got to get that figured out to go to the next level.
Yeah,
it's all going to Darson Garcia.
Sorry, right now I'm sweating Utah State plus 19.5.
I'm with you.
As they're at the UNLV 16-yard line with a minute left.
All that Minnesota basketball NIL is going to Dawson Garcia, but he's a solid player. And last year he in some scraps, were really scrappy, I would say. And this year I don't see this team any worse than last year's team on paper in the preseason. And in fact, I actually like Mike Mitchell as a, Hawkins was really good distributing the ball. He was a good defender, but Mike Mitchell and Tyler Cochran, I think, have a higher ceiling offensively than Hawkins and Cam Christie. I have Minnesota kind of I want to be high on this team because Ben Johnson did a great coaching job last year. I can't staple myself to a place yet.
Highest I can get is like 14.
Yeah, I'm thinking 13. Yeah, we'll see at the end.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just it's tough. It's tough. But we'll talk about breaking through. The Nebraska Cornhuskers, the mayor Fred Hoiberg.
Let's go.
Look, Bryce Williams is back. Jawan Gary is back. Ulyss on the bench is back. Sam Hoiberg, coach's son, is back. Of course, you have him on the team. But too bad Rank masked the former, wasn't he at Bradley, right? He is he's out for this entire season. Is that official?
Yes. Yeah, he's sitting out. He's preserving his last year of eligibility.
It's on the Cam Rising plan. They did lose Tominaga, so they're going to be horrible. But no, they lost him. They also lost Jaron Coleman, Josiah Alec. But losing Kasai Tominaga was a gigantic fucking hit. He was a lot of fun. He was a lot of fun.
Yes, I love that guy.
A lot of fun to watch. They go out and get Rolly Worcester though from Utah. Hey, I kind of like that get. Gavin Griffiths from Rutgers. Braxton May from the Huskies of Washington, Connor Segan from Wisconsin, Andrew Morgan from the Bison of North Dakota State, and then deep on the bench, Berke
Bjorktensel.
Yeah, Jesus. Thank you. I'm buying in. They built a home environment there. No one used to go to Nebraska home games. I remember that. Hey, I like it. I think give me back half, but top back half if that makes sense.
Ooh.
Where are you at with the Cornhuskers, Mac?
Yeah, you know me, man. I love the mayor. I loved him at his days in Iowa State, going against him with my days at West Virginia. And you know me, man. I love Tominaga, aka Lynn Sanity, Tominaga Sanity. Dude, what they did last year was awesome. Getting back to the dance for the first time in almost a decade. I think they're on the right track. I think they're going to be a bubble team this year with all the pieces that they lost. But I do like some of the guys that kind of were banged up last year that are coming back. I mean, Bryce Williams and Juwan Gary,
I like those pieces. Yeah,
they were able to withstand a lot of injuries and a lot of adversity. A lot of it because of Tominaga, obviously. But I like Nebraska to be right in the middle again. They have a great home court. I mean, those fans care.
But that wasn't always there.
But when they buy in, Nebraska's got a passionate fan base. They just needed to buy in because
unbelievable.
I mean, shit, they had 80,000 for an outdoor volleyball game. Like Nebraska's going to show up if you're good.
Well, you've been to Lincoln. I mean, there's nothing else to do.
Go Big Red, baby.
Yeah. Yeah. I have this team like I was looking at this and I'm like 10. Is that bold of me to say around 10?
No, I'm going to be bold because Nebraska, they have the third most experience in the Big Ten, according to Torvik here in the preseason. And Fred Hoiberg led the Cornhuskers to a third place finish last year while losing their star center in the process. Now Raleigh Worcester coming in. He's a nice playmaking point guard from Utah. He played 16 games for the Utes last year. They went 12-4 with him, 10-11 without him. Probably one of my favorite nuggets of this show. Worcester averaged 5.5 dimes last year. He will be surrounded by returning wings Bryce Williams and Juwan Gary, who are kind of the leaders of this team. And I think Connor Segan, Gavin Griffiths, they're both good gambles. Coming up through the high school ranks, they were both labeled as shooters. And now they both have experience in the Big Ten. I think that Nebraska has a variety of possible outcomes this season. They could finish in the bottom half. They could finish in the top half. I'm going to be relatively high on the Huskers this year. I have them probably top 7.
Wow.
And Colby, we should know
NCAA tournament
with Hoiberg, he was doing the portal era at Iowa State before we started doing the portal year with every program. He was doing that a year in and year out. DeAndre Kane coming over from Marshall and just the teams he had at Iowa State. He killed in the portal.
Yeah, you're right. We covered Utah State, by the way. I mean,
I know.
Well,
Mac threw a fist pump while you were previewing
Fantastic.
Well, backdoor touchdown. Go Sun Devils now.
Let's go. Now we jump over to Northwestern. Chris Collins doing a fucking unbelievable job. Clearly their best coach in a long, long time, maybe ever. And guess what?
Can I ask you a question? Was it Boo Buie or Chris Collins? That's what we need to figure out this year.
Well, they got him to Collins got him to the tournament without Buie though. A few years back, right?
Once.
Yeah. Still, they had never been.
But they hadn't been in 50 years before.
And Bowie's the all-time point leading scorer. So at Northwestern.
Boo Buie's great, but it's Chris Collins.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. I look, and I know they also lose Langboard, but I tend to think they might be good again because Jalen Leach comes in from Fairfield, sneaky good get. Keenan Fitzmaurice from Stony Brook comes in. A couple 3-stars coming in as well. KJ Wyndham, Angelo, Sierra Vino. I feel good about that. And then The fact that they return Brooks Barnizer, Ty Berry, Nick Martinelli, Matthew Nicholson, Luke Hunger, all these guys played double-digit minutes for them a season ago. Blake Smith as well. Let's go. Now, obviously, Boo Booey's loss will be huge, but hey, I think high mid, probably on the back end, but they're going to be competitive, man. He's turned that corner, I think, with this program where I don't think they're just a doormat anymore. I think they're going to be competitive night in, night out. I like I said, I don't have them in the top half, but I still think they wouldn't surprise me if they got in the top half. Mac, your thoughts on Northwestern and Chris Collins?
Dude, what they've been able to do there in a couple of years. I mean, over his tenure, they've been a model of consistency. For the most part, in my opinion, they were horrible before he got there, and he's been able to get them into the tournament 3 times now. They have a home court advantage all of a sudden at Northwestern, and I think yes, Boo Booey was great, but I think they're going to continue that on this year, and I like Northwestern to go to 3 straight NCAA tournament appearances. I think it's next man up. I know Boo Booey was fantastic, but I like the guys. Jalen Leach coming over from Fairfield. You got Ty Berry coming back. They're older again, and they got a lot of production coming back. Give me Northwestern to get back to the dance.
Oh, let's go. Let's go. Love it. Bieniek, your thoughts on your boys?
Yeah, this is one of them that we're definitely going separate ways, at least me against you two. I don't see it with this roster. Jalen Leach from Fairfield's a gigantic step up. He wasn't really known as a distributor, more of a bucket getter there. Ty Berry coming off a knee injury that ended his season last year. We'll see how healthy he is this season. Brooks Barnhizer is going to have to be the go-to guy on this team. And I don't know if Barnhizer can be that number 1 circled guy on a scouting report in the Big Ten. To me, I have questions all over this backcourt, so they're a bottom half team for me. You look at last year and in years prior, Boo Booey was the guy for them late in crunch time or just late in the shot clock, and in so many important moments and in some of their upsets, like he was going off. You're gonna have to have somebody that replaces that, in my opinion, and I don't see it.
The hate for the private school pussies. Let's talk about Ohio State and Jake Diebler's cookies or crackers, whatever the fuck they were. Look, kind of love what they did. All right. Look, Bruce Thornton's back. They go out and get a slew of guys. Michi Johnson's back. Micah Parrish was a great addition. Sean Stewart is one that I think could flourish there. Aaron Bradshaw comes in from Kentucky. Stewart came in from Duke, in case you didn't know. And Quest Glover comes in via K-State / Samford. They bring in a 4-star in Junie Mobley. Being it, cover your ears. I know they lose Jamison Battle.
You're not
Bonner.
going here.
Oh yeah.
No, you're not.
Less pressure. I'm a big fan of Ohio State's roster, and I think they're gonna shock a lot of people in basketball this year. Give me these Buckeyes to finish. Give me the Buckeyes to finish top half, or no, top 5. They're top 5.
I was gonna say top half's not bold. Top 5.
No. That's what I mean.
Here.
Top 5.
No
top
way.
5. And I have some news for you, buddy. I think they could win the whole fucking thing.
Oh yeah.
I think they could. I think I don't. You guys, that starting 5 is solid to me.
Yeah. Colby, I'm with you. I like this team. I honestly like them in Michigan. I kind of view the same. I like the pieces intact. I'm getting a new coach, Dusty May, coming over from FAU. Obviously, we have the interim situation with Diebler at Ohio State. I was a big fan of Parrish at San Diego State, kind of a glue piece. Michi Johnson coming back to Ohio State from South Carolina. They had a lot of winning there. Bradshaw from Kentucky. They got the Duke transfer as well. I think they're going to go dancing. I think Ohio State's going to be back in the NCAA tournament. Them in Michigan, I kind of feel the same bounce back years after a couple years down.
I worry about the depth. That's the concern for me. Yeah. Is like I kind of like the starting five to be pretty darn good, but after that you're just like, yeah, can they do it? But no, I like it. I think Diebler. I honestly think having less pressure now, you got the job. I think that's going to benefit too. Bieniek, we know you love Ohio State. And
I don't think there's less pressure here. I honestly think that this was a terrible hire. I was not a fan of it. In fact, as a Michigan fan, I was rooting for them to finish the year good because I wanted them to hire Jake Diebler. I got what I wanted, and now they were pigeonholed into giving this guy the head job, and there were plenty. There's the craziest craziest coaching carousel ever, and you landed with Jake Diebler. That's amazing for a Michigan fan, right? What changed from Holtman to Diebler? This roster certainly didn't. Like, they kept a lot of the pieces. They even went and got Michi Johnson, who was originally a Buckeye.
I thought Diebler coached them better than Holtman last year.
They beat Purdue.
Yeah, I was rooting for them. I was on them. You know what happened with Rodney Terry too? They went to the Elite Eight, and then now they haven't been good since. So
now Chris Holtman was not Chris Beard. The drop off is not.
You remember what happened with Travis Steele at Xavier? That wasn't great either.
What happened at Xavier?
I guess he didn't kill it. Yeah.
It wasn't. He wasn't a great hire, and he kind of was interim or on the staff prior and was hired within. I just think I'm more rooting, but I definitely think this is an outcome. They win some home games, but they're a hilariously average team this season with just two ball dominant guards in the backcourt. So give me that outcome, please. I think they're a middle of the field team in the Big Ten this year.
Who finishes higher, Ohio State or Michigan, Noah?
Michigan, without a doubt.
What about Michigan State? Throw them in there. Who finishes higher?
Ohio State.
There we go.
Let's talk about these Oregon Ducks. You want to talk about an interesting team? I find Oregon very interesting in a conference that lacks athleticism. Getting UCLA and Oregon and even USC gives them like an instant athleticism boost. And I wonder about like how that will pay off in this conference. So they bring in TJ Bamba from Washington State / Villanova. They bring in Brandon Angle from Stanford. Raheem Moss from Toledo. I liked Moss at Toledo. They bring in Supreme Cook, Clark's boy. Interesting. Keyshawn Bartholomew, the old Colorado guard, still there. Kwame Evans, Nate Biddle, all these guys still there. Jadarian Tracy, Jackson Shellstat. Look, you want to talk about like a wild card here.
Every year with this team.
More so because I thought like the Pac-12, like say what you want about the Pac-12, like it was not an elite basketball conference by any means, but I do think they were more athletic than the Big Ten. And I wonder if this athleticism can pay off in a lot of these games. You know what I mean? Like I wonder if that will be an edge that Oregon has perhaps. And Folly Dante graduated. He applied for an extra year of eligibility. The fucking nerve of that guy. Surprised he didn't get injured while applying. Paper cut, out for the season. Guys, I think Oregon's going to be a dangerous team. I got him in my top 5. Mac, your thoughts?
Yeah, they're always a fascinating team. I mean, Dana Altman has won 20 games every year since the first George Bush was president. I mean, he wins 20 games every year. It doesn't matter what league he's in. Creighton, Oregon, Bamba coming over from Villanova, Angel coming over from Stanford. I like their team. I think they're going to be solid. I think they're going to be back in the dance. They should have beat Creighton last year in that round of 32, got to a Sweet 16. I guess maybe my biggest hesitation is, how do they transition into the travel night in and night out with this roster? But I mean, they're going to win 20 plus again, in my opinion. Give me the Ducks, top top 6.
That means number 6.
Yeah.
Noah, what are you doing with these Ducks?
Yeah, Colby used the word wild card to describe this team. I'm going to use the word contender to describe Oregon. I think Oregon is a good 8 or 9 guys deep, which is perfect because this roster is made of glass with all the injuries they've had the last few years. Historically, Altman's teams have been decimated by injuries since COVID. Quite a few of these guys have injury histories too. But I am excited for the Jackson Shellstad show. There's plenty of good shooting that surrounds him. Altman has shown that he's a great coach, and if everything stays relatively on track health-wise, I'm expecting Oregon to be competing for banners this year in their new conference. And I think that them not being the normal cookie-cutter Big Ten team might work in the Ducks' favor this season.
Dude, that's what I'm thinking, man. I think I'm higher than any of you, but
No,
maybe Bieniek's on my level. You sure?
Yeah.
I mean, you sure? Because I have them winning.
Why'd you use wild card then?
Well, just in general, like the narrative. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
I need to see it from them. They lack consistency in this program.
They recently, yes.
From an injury standpoint, like it's just like you don't know.
And
what
finally,
you're getting.
Dante gone though is like,
yeah.
They got rid of three team doctors after that.
Well, Biddle's still there.
Yeah, that's true. They kept a couple on too.
From a win standpoint, they win games consistently, but like from a roster, what to expect night in and night out on how they're going to play, it's not consistent.
Yeah. Next up, let's go to the Penn State Nittany Lions. Mike Rhodes, our boy Ace Baldwin's back for his 20th year. I love Ace Baldwin. That's my guy.
He's been in college.
I know, it's fantastic. All right, just give him look. They're in the tournament. All right, Puff Johnson's back. Greatest name, one of the greatest names. They also returned DeMarco Dunn, Nick Kern, Zach Hicks. They bring in a 4-star in Miles Goodman. No relation to John. But they do also bring in transfers. Freddie DeLeon from Tennessee on that bench with Rick Barnes. Also Yannick Conan Niederhauser from Northern Illinois. This is already my favorite player in college basketball. How do I pronounce this whole fucking roster? They bring in Xavier transfer deep on the bench. Kashi Zay.
Valiant effort.
Yeah. I don't know if how to pronounce these names, but I'm here for your amusement. But look, Mike Rhodes is a damn good coach. Get this Michigan bullshit out of here. Penn State, this is who they should have hired, right? They should have went out and got Mike Rhodes. All right,
get some dogs in there, baby.
I like them. I like this team.
We said that about last year's team too.
Yeah, they're gonna be right on the fence.
They were banged up and they still finished 9-11 in Big Ten play. They got hot down the stretch. I like Penn State a lot this year. They're my sleeper. They're my sleeper.
Go.
I mean, Ace Baldwin back. You got Nick Kern coming back as well. They got a lot of continuity on this team. Zach Hicks. I mean, they're what? Top 3 in returning production. Give me Penn State as a sleeper here.
I like him. I like him. Bieniek, you seem like
and they made a big jump from VCU year 1 to year 2 with Mike Rhodes as well.
Yeah, let's go. Bieniek, what do you think?
I think they're going to be a pain in the ass on the defensive side of the ball. All of these kids are long. And Ace Baldwin's the only one that's 6'1" or smaller. And I mean, go 8 and 9 deep on this roster. He's the only small one, but he's been with Baldwin, or he's been with Rhodes for years now. And when it went from Kanye Cleary show to Ace Baldwin show, that's when this team got hot. And I do think that Penn State's going to be feisty at home this year. They also get Penn State at the Palestra. And it was a funny story at Big Ten Media Day how Ace Baldwin was like, yeah, Braden Smith's mine. Like, that's the attitude that you want from a guy like that. And Braden Smith had no idea where they were even playing Penn State this year. Just absolutely hilarious conversation that I think it was with Big Ten Network. So yeah, I think Penn State's going to come out with a little bit of an attitude, a little bit fiery. They'll be feisty at home. I'll give them that.
They should play at that arena all the time.
Bottom half team.
Yeah. That one at the what's that arena called again?
Palestra.
Yeah.
No.
No,
That's not the name of their. I'm talking about like
they're playing Purdue at the Palestra. They have a small hall that they played Illinois.
The Palestra is in Philly, right?
Yeah,
yes.
The
They played Illinois in like a practice gym, and
that was the best environment. That was the best
they should
environment
do that.
here.
Yes, they should do that all the time. Same with Oklahoma. Let's jump over and talk about Purdue. Matt Painter, is he on the hot seat, Mac? Braden Smith, Fletcher, Loyer, all back. Miles Colvin back. Caleb First back, Trey Kaufman, Wren back. You look at, obviously they lost Zach Edey. All right. And they also lost Mason Gillis and Lance Jones. Those are hits. Ethan Morton as well, but they bring in 4-star Jakari Harris. Look, this team will be good. Because Painter's, this is what he does. Like, dominates the regular season too. I always feel like this team will be. I actually don't think it'll be as drastic of a drop off as maybe some think. I think they'll be in the mix because that's what he does. He's a damn good coach, especially in the regular season. And sign me up for more of the same. Mac.
Yeah, absolutely. And I saw somebody say Purdue's going to miss the NCAA tournament. They're freaking high. They're going to miss Edey. They're going to miss Gillis. They're going to take a step back. I mean, they were in the last 2 years, 70-10 over the last 2 years and right there. And I was happy for that program to finally get through and break through and get to a Final Four. I like Braden Smith. I was a big fan of his. I like what they still have coming back from a continuity and culture standpoint. I think people are forgetting that Painter's been there 20 years and he's won 70% of his games. They're going to win 22 to 24 games, be probably a 5 or 6 seed in March, and I guess a rebuilding year. Purdue, top 5 team for me.
I can't believe he's been there 20 years.
It's crazy. He's been great.
He's been
awesome there. He's been awesome.
I feel old. Bieniek, Purdue. Are you back? Are you going back to back?
Yeah. Only twice since 2016 has Matt Painter not had a top 3 offense in the Big Ten. Purdue's finished inside Ken Palm's top 25 in 9 straight seasons. Just because they lose Zach Edey does not mean that this program is going to take a step back. I think that this season will be really similar to that 21-22 team where the Boilermakers had both Jaden Ivey and Travion Williams. Because I look at Trey Kaufman Wren, and I think smaller 5 than Painter's usually had, kind of out of the realm. Like, he's usually had a beanpole down there protecting the rim. Painter, he's got a new 7-footer to kind of be the next Zach Edey and Daniel Jacobson. I think he's going to play about 50. Yeah, I think he's going to play about 15 minutes a game. The same time that 2021 team had a 7-footer named Zach Edey, played about 15 minutes a game. And you know what? That team was better defensively with that freshman rim protector on the floor. This year, I think the season could go really kind of down the same road where Purdue really snuck up on teams in the non-conference. I think they were like ranked number 1 in early January that year before conference play even began. Look, Travion Williams was really good. I think Trey Kaufman Wren's going to be really good. But look, Jacobson is a guy that could average like 2 or 3 blocks a game. He's a really good defender. Needs to develop on the offensive side. But in my opinion, it's a bridge year. But I still think they have a super high floor. And I have them winning the Big Ten this year with, a ton of questions on a bunch of other rosters. Give me the best player, the best coach, Braden Smith, Matt Painter, to go out, do the job in a year that not many people really think that it's a chalk pick to take Purdue. I still love what they have and playmaking abilities around, Braden Smith, his playmaking abilities, and the shooters around him like Fletcher, Loyer, Miles Colvin, Cam Heide, Caleb First. So I think Purdue is the team that I can trust the most in the Big Ten. Give me them to win it.
Wow, there we go.
Shocker.
Bieniek still sucking them off. All right, let's go to what maybe the most interesting team in the conference, if I may, like the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. Steve Peichel took some hits over the years in the portal. It happened again. Mawat Mag, Clifford Omarori, whatever the fuck, however you say his name, he's gone. And God damn it, I can't talk. Omarori. They also lost Noah Fernandez and Austin Williams. But how about these freshmen? They're going to be fascinating to watch. Dylan Harper and Ace Bailey, two of the top 3 recruits in the nation, come in, and they return Jeremiah Williams. Jamichael Davis also back as well. I mean, tell me, I have no fucking idea if this is going to work in year 1, but it's going to be fascinating to watch. They bring in some transfers too. PJ Hayes from San Diego with Steve Lavin, Zach Martini with Princeton, Eastern Michigan's Tyson Acuff, and Jordan Durkak from Merrimack. The Warriors come out to play. This is like the hardest. If anyone tells me they actually know how this is going to work out this year, I think they're lying to me, because I just think this. I like Steve Peichel. I think Steve Peichel is a really underrated head coach, but can a team this inexperienced be this good in year 1? Oh shit. I tend to. Sorry, it was a big moment in the game. I tend to think they got to prove it to me. I know they're talented, but I just don't know night in, night out if they're going to be able to do this. How are they going to adjust to these environments? Coming from high school and going into some of these Big Ten environments, fucking insane. So I have them like in the back half of the conference, but at the top of the back half. Mac, your thoughts on the Scarlet Knights?
I'm 100% with you, man. And I like, don't get me wrong, I like their freshmen. I've seen people have them in their preseason top 25, and I'm like, no way. I love Cliff Murray that left to go to Alabama. Mawat Mag also on the way out. This is a program that wins on toughness, defense, rebounding, older veterans that just find a way to win, that have been through Big Ten battles. This team doesn't have it from that on the outside looking in. I think they're going to be a pain in the ass come February, because I think these freshmen will grow up. But I'm with you. I think this is a back half of the Big Ten team, or Big Ten roster, just because I can't trust freshmen in this league. And I know that's a kind of a contrarian take, because a lot of people like Rutgers. So I think we're in the minority here, Colby. By the way, if Villanova does open, I think Steve Peichel would be a great fit there. Just side note.
Yeah, I like that. I like that angle. Yeah. This is. Would you agree, Mac? Though this is probably the most interesting team. This is the one I feel like I could be so wrong on. I could be very wrong on this team.
I mean, if all the freshmen hit, but I mean that's like playing roulette. I mean, if all of them hit, they're a top 25 team. But I'll take my chances that they don't hit. So that's why I have them back after the league.
Yeah, Bieniek, your thoughts on these Scarlet Knights?
Yeah, in the last 2 decades, Rutgers has not finished in the top 70 nationally in offensive efficiency. But if Steve Peichel is actually capable of coaching blue chip talent, which we do not know, like it takes a certain coach to be able to handle some of these egos as well. Now, I do know that both that both Ace Bailey and Dylan Harper both bought into Rutgers. If you're going to commit to Rutgers, you're going to have to play solid defensively in this structure and system. And, this is probably going to be the best offense that Rutgers has had since Ron Harper and Geo Baker in the, early COVID, just after COVID. There's going to be a lot of 5-out ISO ball, because both Dylan Harper and Ace Bailey are both ball dominant and better off the dribble. So, a little bit of a knock there. The issue I have with this team is defensively. I trust Peichel, but the Scarlet Knights do not have your traditional experienced rim protector like they've had in recent seasons. I would expect a lot of possessions with no true five on the floor, and instead Rutgers is in zone. Like I said, I trust Peichel on that end of the floor, but I do have my questions about this team too. So I'm not bought all the way in either on Rutgers.
Yeah. Let's talk about these Bruins, because I can tell you this, buddy. Kind of like this team here.
Yeah.
I think this is maybe his best team on paper. I don't know. On paper, I guess a couple years ago he had a pretty fire paper.
2 years ago he was loaded.
Yeah. But I really like this team. Dylan Andrews back, Sebastian Mack back, Stefanovic back. They go out and they get Kobe Johnson from USC. Disgusting. Absolutely fucking disgusting. But he can play. And then you get Sky Clark. Who knows what we'll see from him, but I mean, this is a guy who's really talented. Dominic Harris also comes in from Loyola Marymount, where he played well at LMU. Tyler Bilodale, I believe, from Oregon State, who played well for them. William Kyle III from South Dakota State comes in, and same with Eric Daly Jr. from OK State. Trent Perry, also a 4-star freshman, they're excited about. I mean, top 5 team in the Big Ten to me.
No doubt. And they fit the Big Ten in terms of how they're going to play. Mick Cronin wants to grind you out. Mick Cronin's honestly at home in the Big Ten. He's an Ohio guy.
Agreed.
Bringing over Kobe Johnson from USC. That's a good get. Bringing back his 2 guards and Dylan Andrews and Sebastian Mack. I love this team. I love Mick Cronin with a chip on his shoulder. Last year, a little bit of a rebuilding year. He didn't forget how to coach. Top 4 team, chance to win it, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree, and I'm kind of bullish on them this year. Bieniek, your thoughts on the Bruins?
So Mick Cronin's had a top 50 defense nationally via KenPom in 14 of the last 15 seasons. And that gives UCLA a super high floor. And this roster has a lot of potential if 7-3 a day Mara continues to develop. As of now, though, it's Dylan Andrews, Sebastian Mack, Lazar Stefanovic, along with some gambles off the bench that can get you a bucket. That, it makes UCLA one of the best backcourts in the Big Ten. I have my questions about the front court, but I have questions about almost every other Big Ten team here. Again, trying not to get caught with like so many top half teams, but I'm not quite as high as you guys are on UCLA, but I do have them as a top 50% team in this league.
All right. Let's talk about these Trojans, their rivals. Can I just throw this out there again? This is another wild card team.
Get a whiskey to name this portal team.
Yeah.
That's about to say. I love how this is like team 16 or something. And you're just like, but this is one where if it hits, like, do I think they're talented? I do. Like, I think they're a talented team, but it's just there's so many new faces, and it's like, how fast can you get this going? If this thing hits, this could be a top 5 team to me, but I don't think it will hit right away. I think it's going to take time. So they go.
It usually does with Muss.
Yeah, and I mean, Eric Musselman obviously comes in. Some would say coaching upgrade, some don't, and. They bring in Terrence Williams the second, Noah's boy from Michigan, Desmond Claude from Xavier, St. Thomas from Northern Colorado, Agbo from Boise State. Chibuzo Agbo is a good player. Josh Cohen from UMass, who played well. Bryce Pope from UC San Diego. Clark Slackchert. I don't know how to fucking pronounce his name. Anyway, he comes in from Penn. Matt Nolan comes in from Yale. I remember Nolan played well. Kevin Patton from San Diego. Rashawn Agee from Bowling Green. They also add a couple 4-star freshmen, and also Wesley Yates comes in from Washington. Holy shit! Got no idea. This is another one that I feel like I could be so wrong about, but I have them in the back half of the conference. but towards the top of the back half, just because I think Musselman's a good coach. But if you're looking for another one that I think I could be the most wrong about when I listen to this episode next year, it is certainly potentially this one, because I think there's a lot of talent on the roster. It's just how fast can you get it going? Mac, your thoughts?
Yeah, I would say, Colby, that Musselman as well, like Hoiberg, was ahead of the time with the portal.
Yeah.
He relied heavily on it at Nevada when he brought in the Martin twins. So, and then of course he takes his roster to Arkansas. They go to 3 straight second weekends. I think USC is going to be good. I do. I will blindly trust Musselman. It kind of ran its course there, but at the same time, last year they were competitive. I know they lost a bunch of close games. I think USC will be a middle of the pack team in the Big Ten.
Dude, it's not a crazy 40-1 because of the actual talent.
Correct.
The only problem with him, though, can they win a regular season where you
start slow?
Got to be consistent.
Yeah.
Now, postseason tournament, I'm with you.
Dude, I just think if you had to grade like athleticism, where would they be in the Big Ten?
I don't know. They're a bunch of up transfers. They're a bunch of mid-major all-stars. So I don't know if I can go there.
Middle of, top third.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, but I don't know.
Big Ten ain't athletic, Noah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, there's so many teams that I don't define.
We haven't
as
even
athletic.
got to Wisconsin yet. We've been going for like 3 hours, and we haven't even got to Wisconsin yet. Who probably win the Big Ten.
It's going to be fascinating. USC is going like all those new Pac-12 teams are going to be fascinating to watch. But USC, it's like I just don't know. Like the best way for me to give it, I know we try to cover the team and we think we're right, but I'm like, yeah, I guess I have them at I think like 12th or 13th, but I'm like, I have no fucking idea.
Cronin versus Musselman twice a year. Sign me up.
Fucking great. Fucking great.
Midget versus midget. Let's go.
Yes. Bieniek, your thoughts on the Trojans as Cam Scatterboo just breaks a fucking long ass run. Oh
Scatterboo,
what a run!
Go.
What a run!
How is Big 12 tapping into this Big 10 preview? Come on.
Because your league sucks ass.
Musk gets a bad rap, in my opinion, after the Arkansas exit. He led the Hogs to 3 straight Sweet 16s for the first time since the 90s. If you're going to hire the Musk bus, you just have to be understanding that he's going to be tinkering with the lineup a lot before conference play begins. Sometimes it's going to blow up like a claymore, and sometimes he's going to look like a genius because the team's going to be rolling come March. There's a lot of long switchable guys for Musk to deploy here on defense. Almost all of these guys scored the ball wherever they came from, either the number 1 or number 2 option, which again could create some chemistry issues with this team. It always seems to be a gigantic question mark with these Musselman teams, but who knows what's going to happen with this team. Honestly, this was the team that I had circled as well, that I have a chance to be really wrong, but I'm going to have them in the bottom half. I think they just start too slow in conference play.
Can't sleep on the Musk bus.
Yeah, I was going to say by the time conference play comes around, I think they might actually that's why I'm saying they're a fucking really hard.
I don't know. We were saying that last year and they just never came around. They sucked.
That was year 5. Like that shit was already on the way out. He was already ready.
They had 3 Sweet 16s. They had 3 Sweet 16s. I predicted them win the national championship. That wasn't all the way out or on the way out.
I don't know, man. I think
Shout
that
out to
roster
David in the chat.
Yeah, I like that. He's got a real dynamic wife, Eric Musselman guy. Look, I just think that roster is actually more talented than a lot of rosters in this conference. I really do. I think it's more talented than a lot of rosters. Let's talk about Danny Sprinkle, year 1, Washington. I'm excited. I like Danny Sprinkle, and he brings in Great Osabar with him from Utah State. They bring in also a 4-star recruit in Zoom Diallo, who's projected to start for him. Also, Frank Kepnang back from injury. Can he stay healthy? There's another duck It's another Oregon Duck that was injured all the time. DJ Davis transfers in from Butler. Makai Mason from Rice. Tyler Harris from the Pilots of Portland. Louis Courtwright from Rhode Island transfers in. Chris Conway from Oakland. And a few other guys. But I'll tell you this, man. Keon Brooks, Moses Wood, Severe Wheeler. Every fucking player on this team from a year ago gone. This team's been a nightmare for me to talk about over the past 5 years. All right, but I do believe Danny Sprinkle's better than. That's a huge coaching upgrade.
No doubt.
I still got a back half, but I mean, they've been talented for the fucking past 7 years, and they've sucked every time. But I can tell you this: having a coach with an actual plan can make a big fucking difference when you have talent. I still think back half year one, but Mac, your thoughts on these Huskies?
What do we think of Osabar getting all that money?
That's a lot of money, man.
Is he the same dude?
God bless America, right? Only in America.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, dude, we loved Utah State. They overachieved last year. Sprinkle, I'm all in on Sprinkle, like for the long term. I'm not high on Washington this year. I think they're definitely bottom tier team. I don't trust Davis coming over from Butler, Mason from Rice. I mean, they're right there at the basement for me. There's a lot of question marks for Washington.
Yeah, they've been talented though, man. Like I just remember what like certain games they'd get up and beat like one team, and you're just like watching this roster, and you're like, God, I mean, under Hopkins, you're just like, how the fuck are they this bad?
Yeah,
Bieniek,
I like Sprinkle for the long term.
Yeah. Bieniek, your thoughts on these Huskies?
Yeah, Sprinkle was a guy that I questioned last year after he only had, in my book, like 2 great seasons at Montana State. Then he skipped town. Like we didn't see him build anything there. Then Utah State, he runs the table, wins the freaking regular season. And I didn't expect that. I think this is where it catches up to him because I still want to see him build something rather than hitting the portal and jump. And hopefully he did that for this year's roster. But I think that actually their ceiling depends on freshman Zoom Diallo, how he gets acclimated to college basketball this season because he's a freshman point guard. He was ranked as highly as 9th nationally in the class all the way back in the 2023 calendar by 24/7. But, you know, I don't know whether it was like a couple of the teams that he visited caused his rating to drop or if he didn't play as well last year. But the scouting report on him, you know, he's a really good passer and he excels in pick and roll. Him and Great Osibor are going to run the pick and roll. And if that gets going, you know, this team could be pretty steady. You know, feisty at home, another one. Like, you know, it's going to be a tough team to play up there in Seattle. Probably the furthest travel spot for a lot of Big Ten teams this season. That's where I have Washington. I have them as bottom half team. They steal a lot of home games, and it's tough for them to win on the road with a freshman point guard.
Yeah. Let's jump over and talk about the Wisconsin Badgers. How is Greg Gard still coaching here? But
he makes a tournament every year.
I know.
Yeah, I don't know what you would say about that.
Me? I remember a different Wisconsin.
He has bad teams and he wins with them. Like he gets the most out of a lot of his teams.
I think they could do better. That's all I'm saying.
I think you're crazy. There are a lot of white guys in Wisconsin. Well, there are a lot of staples.
You can go out and get out. There's this thing called NIL.
Yeah, they don't have any of that. That's not a coach issue, though.
How the fuck does Wisconsin? There's no other power program in the state.
But look at the football team.
What? They tried to go air raid. That's their fault. Anyway, Cameron Hunter comes in from Central Arkansas. Xavier Amos from Northern Illinois, John Tonje from Missouri. They bring back Max Klesmit, John Blackwell, and Stephen Kroll, and a slew of other guys that played 8 minutes a game. Chucky Hepburn's gone. Tyler Wall's gone. AJ Store's gone. Yeah, consider me out on Wisconsin. Back half of the league, consider me out on Greg Gard too. Always. All right. They will Tony Bennett and muck it up and get a couple wins, but the difference is Bennett can get him over the top. Greg Gard should be working at a fucking Sears. All right.
Where did all this hate for Greg Gard come from?
He like outside of Tony Bennett having a couple NBA guys, like Gard and Bennett, like over the last 5-6 years, very similar.
And you know what's going to happen too. If Gard leads, Bennett's coming. So
I don't know. Bennett might retire. But I mean, hey man, I'm in on Wisconsin. Shocker again. I think the Staples will be sharp once again. They got a culture there. They're Iowa football, but on the hardwood. Where's Rob Donaldson? Last year, he said that there was no chance Wisconsin was going to the NCAA tournament. Well, they got a 5 seed. They got to the Big Ten title game. When you doubt Wisconsin, they always find a way. Give me Greg Gard and company. Top 5, top 6 once again.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not that high on this.
Staples, baby.
I'm not that high on this team, but I did pick them second in the league last year. They finished 5th, nowhere near like the basement where you guys projected them last year.
Yeah, I think we win it.
Yeah, no, I wasn't talking about you. I was talking you guys was Colby and Rob. Wisconsin this year, it's definitely not the prettiest on paper, but Greg Gard usually overachieves with these types of teams. I've learned my lesson in years past. I think it was 2021 or 2022. They were projected to be like 10th in the league and they won it. So I never know with these Wisconsin teams on paper. They're going to expect Cameron Hunter to be the point guard after missing all of last season due to injury, and he's coming in from Central Arkansas. I'm not sure about that one, but what I do know is Stephen Kroll is going to be one of the best big men in the Big Ten. Again, like I said, a lot of these basement teams or close to the bottom teams have really good returning players. Wisconsin's one of these that does have continuity. They just lost some important players like Chucky and Tyler Wall at important positions. I wasn't really high on Chucky, so I don't see a huge step back for Wisconsin. And Tyler Wall was injured half the time. So I got the Badgers around the middle, bottom half, but I've learned my lesson. Don't be too low on the Badgers.
Well, this is one where I think it really hurts them that you add in 4 programs that are going to be way more athletic than them. You know what I mean? Even with Washington being complete ass, you know, and I haven't looked at the schedule with a deep dive yet, but I'm saying like a trip to Seattle.
I attempted to do the schedule deep dive, but there's no clear like Titans in this league this year. So I kind of threw that out.
I mean, I didn't even want to look at the schedule with 18 teams in a fucking conference. I'm just like disgusting. But I just think that voting in 4 teams that are going to be more athletic than you every single year. Now, you know, before, because Wisconsin hasn't been super athletic, but at the same time, like the teams they're playing aren't super athletic. So I do worry about that. We'll see. But anyway, I'm glad we're through this exercise of 1,000 teams, and let's rank them. At number 18, I do have the Washington Huskies in year 1 of the sprinkle era. At number 18, Mac, who do you have at 18?
I did have Washington too, and I don't think they're horrible, but like I raised my questions, and Danny Sprinkle regression year.
To give you an idea, Mac, of how far we could be wrong, I think I was reading Lindy's magazine that had Washington 8th in the Big Ten.
It honestly, 18th and 8th may only be separated by 2 games.
Noah, who do you got at 18?
I feel terrible doing this because this is a team that has been my like bread and butter the last 2 years. I've made a ton of money betting a lot of Northwestern basketball, but I think that Boo Buie was a gigantic factor in the last 2 seasons of success. So I have them 18th in this conference.
At 17, I have the Minnesota Golden Gophers. Mac?
I had the Golden Gophers as well, man, and
Oh,
I like Ben Johnson, but they lost a ton.
Yeah. Bieniek,
I have Penn
17.
State. Penn State at 17.
This is going to be great because we have a lot of big time differences.
I mean, this conference, like Mac said, 2 games separates like 8 positions in standings.
Yep.
At 16, I have the Rutgers Scarlet Knights, and I'm prepared for being incredibly wrong on this one.
Wow.
Holy shit, we must have each other's notes. I had Rutgers too, and I'm like, God
Oh
damn.
my God.
They're a like some people have them in their top 25. I'm like, no, they had too many freshmen. I think they're a 500 team, Rutgers.
Yeah. Bieniek, who do you got at 16?
Washington. I have Washington at 16.
All right, at 15, I have the Northwestern Wildcats, who I was like somewhat bullish on when previewing them, but I just think there's so many like teams that are at the same level. I have Northwestern at 15. Mac?
At number 15, I have Iowa.
Wow.
I think that they're 9-11, 8-12. Maybe they sink into 10-10.
I thought for sure you were going to follow up on your top 6.
I thought so. And then I looked at the teams. I'm like, God damn, there's so many teams. So Iowa, number 15 for me.
At number 14,
Maryland for 15.
Oh, sorry,
Maryland.
Sorry. Jesus, yeah.
I have the Terps 15. Maryland. No Jameer Young. I think that team takes a gigantic step back too. They had the number 1 defense and they finished tied for 12 in the conference last year.
I'm with you in that regard, man. They're my 14. So we got that.
There we go.
Yeah, I don't think I'm just never been a Kevin Willard guy either. So yeah. Mac, who you got at 14?
At 14, I have USC at 14. I don't know what to do with them, so I just put them at 14. I could see a big upside, but I could also see the basement. So USC 14.
Bieniek?
I have Minnesota 14th.
At 13, I have the Wisconsin Badgers.
Hating on my Badgers again.
All of a sudden, you climbed them out of the basement. I'll give you that.
Well, I forgot about Maryland. Forgot about Maryland there. Almost said Wisconsin ahead of Maryland. I trust Wisconsin more than I do Maryland.
At number 13, I had Penn State. I think they're solid, but like there's just so many other teams that are even. So Penn State.
Bieniek?
13, I had USC. I think they start slow in this conference. That's a team that's going to be playing their best ball come March, but they're probably most dangerous in the Big Ten tournament.
12, I got the Michigan Wolverines.
Disrespectful.
Or Mac, what do you got at 12?
At 12, I have Nebraska. I have a little bit of a step back with some of the Tamanaga energy gone, but I mean, still respectable. Nebraska.
Bieniek?
12, I was Wisconsin at 12.
Oh, you guys.
At 11, I do have Nebraska. So Nebraska just edges out Michigan. Bieniek. Basketball school. Mac, where are you going with that 11?
At number 11, I have Maryland. I have them as a bubble team.
Bieniek?
Finishing 11th in the regular season and needing to play their way into the big dance come Big Ten tournament time. Michigan State finishes 11th the regular season.
We're gonna clip that.
Yeah. 10th,
they might have just moved up in my rankings.
10th, I have the Penn State Nittany Lions.
I like it.
Mac, who do you have at 10?
And number 10, I'm like, God damn, who do I have left? I have Michigan at 10. Like I said, I have Michigan, Ohio State right there in the middle. So give me Michigan at 10.
Bieniek?
10th, I have Rutgers.
All right. At 9, I have the Iowa Hawkeyes. Dead even. That's what they do. All right. Mac, who do you
They
have at 9?
technically finish in the top half. 6 is where they usually finish.
I have the Buckeyes of Ohio State. Them and Michigan finish with the same record, both 10-10, and they split the regular season.
I think we only play them once.
What?
That's how fucking.
Time out. That's like that.
Why would they do that?
We played Purdue, Rutgers, and Michigan State twice this year.
Ohio State and Michigan should always play twice.
Are you trying to get? I thought the sport was run by TV execs. They're just fucking idiots. Anyway, Bieniek, who do you got at 9?
Ohio State. Speaking of those Buckeyes, 9.
All right. At 8, I have USC. Mac, who do you got at 8?
My guys from Northwestern, man. I've been high on this team. Chris Collins, private school pussies, baby. Let's go.
Noah, 8.
I have 8 teams from the Big Ten making the dance. There's not a whole lot of top 4 seeds, but I think there's a shitload of 7, 8, 9, 10 seeds in this conference. And the first one of them, Iowa, 8.
Love it. At number 7, I have the Indiana Hoosiers.
That's low.
I'm joining you, man. I'm not buying into this NIL hype roster, man. I think I gotta see it, man. Get 7 seed in the Big Ten, 8-9 game. They lose. Indiana, 7 seed for me.
Let's go. Bieniek.
I got Michigan 7.
There we go. There he is, riding the pony. Right. At number 6, I have the Illini. Mac.
That's where I have Oregon. Like I said, top 6.
Bieniek.
At 6, I have the Mayor in Nebraska.
Ooh, yeah, baby. I like it.
I like it.
I hope you're right. I want Nebraska.
Yeah. At 5, I have Sparty. It's Izzo. I'll figure it out. Mac, who do you got at 5?
I have on Wisconsin, number 5. They're always in. They're always 5th. It's 4th or 5th on Wisconsin.
Noah, 5.
UCLA. I don't know if my Wi-Fi is acting up, but I got the Bruins 5th.
Alrighty, at number 4, I have the Ohio State Buckeyes. Mac.
At number 4, I have the Purdue Boilermakers. I think they're solid. This year. A little bit of setback, but I think they'll be good once again.
Bieniek, number 4.
Give me the Underwood Magic. Illinois finishes 4th.
At number 3 for me, I do have the UCLA Bruins. Mac.
I have the Illini from Illinois finishing 3rd.
Bieniek.
Oregon 3rd.
At 2, I have the Purdue Boilermakers. Mac.
I have UCLA at 2. I like Mick Cronin. I like the identity that's coming into this league. Let's go Bruins.
Bieniek.
You guys know how I feel about this fan base and their candy striped pants, but I think they got the best roster in paper in the Big Ten. I'm putting Indiana at 2 because I can't put him at 1. But if you guys can't live up to expectations, he's out the door. He's gone. Mike Woodson's gone. He's not it. So Indiana 2. And if they're not there, I'm disappointed. This roster should be a Big Ten winning roster.
At number 1, I have Dana Altman. Year 1, he comes right in with that Phil Knight money.
Baby.
Oregon Ducks win the regular season. Athleticism.
I just realized that sucks. The Big Ten's not going to get somebody from PK. Like at the PK tournaments, the invitationals, Oregon's going to get one of them.
Yeah.
At least. That blows.
Yeah. Mac, who you got winning the Big Ten regular season?
The Don, baby. He got rid of that class that lost more games than any other class in Michigan State history. I got Tom Izzo finding a way with this young group. They're going to get better and better, and all of a sudden he's going to get energized. They're going to buy into the culture. Sparty wins the regular season Big Ten title in a year that's wide open. Let's go, Sparty. Who's your daddy, Noah?
Love it.
If they win it, I tip my cap. Again, I have nothing against the man. It's one of the worst teams he's had in 2 decades, easily. Winning this,
another $100 on it. Let's go.
Winning this for a 3rd straight season, the Purdue Boilermakers. Let's go. They get a banner for the 3rd straight season in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
Tournament champ.
I have USC.
That's the easy pick, right?
Where's the tournament at?
Chicago.
That's true.
I think they changed it this year back. They changed it back to Chicago, I believe.
Chicago.
I'm not 100% on that, but I think it's Chicago.
Shit. Indiana wins. Indiana gets going with that portal team, and they get all high going in the NCAA tournament, then losing the first round.
Bieniek?
Indy this year. It's in Indy.
Indiana Hoosiers.
So that means Purdue, the Boilermakers, they sweep the Big Ten again this year. Choo choo, all aboard. Sleeper team.
It's gotta be USC or Rutgers or something. I mean, how are we doing this? Because rankings last year, they weren't in the conference.
There was a media poll that just came out too.
Sparty winning the regular season is a sleeper.
Yeah, I'll say my Oregon pick then. Oregon.
I don't think Oregon's a sleeper.
To win the league?
No, they were like 3rd or 4th, I believe.
Shit, that's
really?
still. I think that's really
Vegas odds.
No, like media.
Well, Oregon was 6th in the preseason poll.
6th.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, yeah. So that's a sleeper.
That's a sleeper.
I don't have to worry about mine. Mine's Nebraska. They were in the preseason poll 12th. So I have them finishing 6th. Bust. Who's the bust?
Oh, I think Maryland would be one that I would. Rutgers. What were the preseason? I didn't use the.
Maryland was picked 10th.
Oh, Indiana first.
Oh, Indiana. Yeah.
Indiana 7th.
Yeah.
They were 2nd.
Rutgers was picked 7th in the media poll. For me, it's Maryland. I have Maryland 15th. They were picked 10th. If I had to go a little bit more, be a little bit more bold, it would be Michigan State. They were picked 5th. I have them 11th.
You're hating on my guy.
Folks, that's our show. Noah Bieniek's on Twitter at NoahB77. Give him a follow. Moneyline Max on Twitter at Moneyline_Mac. I'm on Twitter at the Colby D. The College Basketball Experience is on Twitter at TCE on SGPN. Do not forget that when the season goes live, we have games on November 4th. That means starting on November 3rd all the way to April 5th or 6th, or whatever the hell the natty is. We will be live every single night talking college hoops. I can't wait. All right. I cannot wait. Also check out the College Football Experience, the FCS College Football Experience, the College Baseball Experience. Bieniek's always killing it over there. The Big 12 Experience with Moneyline Mac and company. Also the Ryan and Rush Show. And check out all that good stuff. Check out the Sports Gambling Podcast as well, where we covering college hoops is there as well over there. Excited. I honestly can't wait. Preseason you talk, it's cool, but it's like, it's empty bullets. Can't wait for the season, folks. We are less than 20 days, just about 25 days, 24 days, something like that. All right, folks, looking forward to it. Till next time, this is the college basketball experience. You better start thinking about yours, and we out of here.